What's up? This is Jake Jones from Going Jones and Slap at the Bass, here to give you your first Q&A. And so today we're going to talk a little about Juggalo Day weekend, my personal experience, a little bit about starting a Patreon, some recommendations of websites for other musicians that are coming up, and a little teeny tiny bit about the hair. Alright, so first things first, Juggalo Day weekend. There will be an entire sit-down video on it, but to be brief, it was an amazing experience beyond explanation. Anyone who likes the experience of any kind of live show of any kind of music, who enjoys the atmosphere, being surrounded by people who enjoy similar, if not the same music. Even if you have different tastes in music completely, I recommend it as an experience. From the point we got to the line outside, people were instantly like friends. People would turn around, and just start talking, and immediately, they have friendship, in their intention, and it's dope. I recommend it. And you get inside, everyone's hanging out, chilling. There's wrestling. It was a little tacky, but that's part of the charm. It's part of the flavor. But some of that stuff was real. You can't fake lifting a 500-pound man and dropping him, or jumping off the turnbuckles and hitting them with chairs and stuff. It was good entertainment. Um, Technically safe for the kids. I mean, we're talking, depends on what age you want to get them into that sort of thing, but decent wrestling experience. And when it comes to the music, that's a whole episode in its own. Highly recommend it. And so I personally had a meet and greet with Psychopathic. I loved it. I wish we just had a little more time. It was a little rushed on the time frame with each person, but definitely got my money's worth. It was just an honor just to talk to him. Let anybody killer know. Me and my boy's been listening to him since seventh grade, and he's like, "You made me feel old." I'm like, "Nah, man, it's all good." Meeting Blase Rose, Light, DJ Clay, Big Hoodoo was the first one to approach me and be like, "What's up?" He is big. I mean, he's Big Hoodoo, but I'm 5.5 feet, and he looks 6.5 feet or something. A little intimidating, but definitely a big-hearted fella. And so finally, got to meet the whole little family there. Rudy, I got to meet him on a couple occasions. He was hanging out, chilling with everybody, just, being out there. And it was an honor to meet him, the man, the legend in the flesh. I'm glad, I let him know I'm glad he's in better health. He had gone through a couple surgeries. I'm glad to see he's doing so good, in good shape, keeping it up, and, coming to Florida from Detroit, making the trip and all, just to be with all of us. That was awesome. And so once it got to meeting that dynamic duo of wicked shit, ICP themselves, I'll keep it brief. We got to talk for about a minute or so, and I put my electronic press kit flash drive, which each musician that's looking to share their music with people need an electronic press kit, a combination of files on your computer, laptop, whatever you got, of music, pictures, video, promotional material, flyers, business cards, bio, things of that nature, all in one place, which I had a flash drive that was like a little, it looked like a cassette. So I put it in Violent J's hands, and I let him know I had sent the equivalent of this to Psychopathic headquarters, and whatever. I'm not worried about that. And he's like, "Well, it's in my possession now, brother." I'm like, "All right, that's cool." I don't need to get signed or anything like that. I'm not trying for that. I just would, my intent is to let them hear the music that I've made, specifically Juggalo on the News, which you can find on a link right in here. Make it easy for you. Touch it, click it, whatever you got. 2.5 minutes. Dope message. It's the middle finger to the naysayers, the people who still say, "Magnets, how do they work?" Like, bitch, we already explained it. Anyways, great experience. Shaggy was just silly, a little silly. Good times. And so we got to the show, Fago Armageddon, dope stuff. Long story short, I know it's running on a little bit. There was an after party. It was dope. Rudy called my girl on stage. Me and her went up there and started just killing it on stage, handing the mic off to people in the crowd and stuff. It was a blast. We got probably 25, 30 people up on the stage acting out the songs like I do in the living room or in the kitchen, when we're playing the music, just hanging out, or in the car or whatever. So it was a blast, and I recommend it to anyone, Juggalo or not. Here we've gone over the 5 minute mark. I'm gonna try to spend 1 or 2 minutes on each of the other subjects. So next up, starting a Patreon. So this to me will probably be another video all its own in more detail. I just want to touch base on it. Patreon is basically, to me, the equivalent of if I or any musician, or it's for bloggers and other people as well, but as a musician, it's the equivalent of if I were to go to the town square or the center of town, wherever people are, and just do what I do and just play. And if each person that was interested would drop one single dollar in my case or my hat, whatever I got, busking, if each person that was interested dropped $1 a month, then I believe I would be able to make a decent living just doing what I'm here to do, making music. Everything else is kind of a distraction. So with that philosophy in mind, I really just am taken by the idea that rather than going into a town where some people are at work, some people are at home, some people are doing their own thing, most people that I know won't even be in that part of town that day. There's no option to really make any kind of benefit off of that to actually physically do that. Whereas Patreon is basically the internet equivalent, where whenever you see it, whenever you decide you are interested, then you can give what you think is necessary to show your patronage to it. To show your interest, to show your curiosity, the level of involvement you would like to be. Coming up in a small town where every musician knows each other because there's only a handful of musicians, and we stayed together pretty much until people started moving out of town and whatnot, going their own direction. But this seems like the genuine avenue I would like to take. And if you're interested, it would mean the world to me if you could or felt interested in watching some of the videos, or even donate $1, or even donate 5 or 10. And with that would be not just donating. It's really, if you feel interested and inclined, then you'll be receiving exclusive content based on that. So you're not just giving away money, as little as it is, as little as I'm asking. It's going to be behind the scenes, question and answer stuff. You'll be able to decide the questions. I mean, you can straight up ask me the questions and I will straight up answer them in the format of video, custom songs, shout out songs for those who help me reach my certain goals in increments. I've already got a little more support than I was expecting, overnight, and I appreciate that. That had me smiling all through work, because I do work a normal ass job, but music is my life and passion. So to be able to make enough per month that I can do music full time will increase the velocity and frequency. I can make more music, higher quality, with more focus for you. So we're helping each other out at that point. So I'm not necessarily asking for a donation. It's really just your level of involvement. Final thing, recommendations for websites for musicians. I did not expect this to run into 10 minutes, but yeah, you got me started. So as a musician, since I would say realistically 2013 is when I broke out of the box and started doing my own thing, my own recording and composing and creating the songs to be played as a whole piece of a song, not just pieces. There are necessary websites, and I found through trial and error some that are basically mandatory, some that are just extremely helpful, and of course, there are people making different levels of living with music, or different levels of promotion, or people knowing about them with or without these. But the ones I find basically mandatory are Facebook, obviously. You gotta have a Yahoo email. I mean, you gotta have an email. I specifically use Yahoo. It's the easiest. I use Gmail once in a while, but not for my music. Twitter, I did not get into Twitter. I created an account some years ago, but I didn't really get into liking and following and posting and stuff until about New Year's this year, 2017. But it actually is pretty useful. It helps you get the word out whenever you got just a little something to say that, people that know you on Facebook, have a Twitter or don't have a Facebook, it gets your word out to a different audience. YouTube, how you going to upload videos if you don't got a YouTube? I found out just this year how much easier it is to do on your phone. I've been really just trying to keep on the higher level video quality of an actual HD 1080 video camera, but I found just earlier this year with my phone and what YouTube can do for you in the actual editing is everything I need, everything a simple musician needs. I will be making some future videos, probably about at least once a month music video style, but probably twice a month Q&A type like this. Don't really need any effects for that though. And a domain website. Important, not necessary entirely, um, unless you plan on selling like merch, shirts, CDs, physical things. Then main website's not necessary completely. I use Weebly.com. I recommend it. Super easy. I found it from a friend who used it as basically an online resume, credentials, things of that nature. And so I started using it. It makes it super easy to lay out whatever it is you've got as your musician's credentials, links, videos, pictures, paragraphs, all those good things. PayPal, not necessary, but pretty close if you're going to do any kind of money exchanging with people, either for a product they have or for them to get a product you have, direct payment to your card. You basically link up your pay card, which I have pay card from work, weekly, bi-weekly, whatever. I link that card to the PayPal. If someone wants to buy something that directly comes from my card, it will go through PayPal instantly, just super quick. I recommend it. There is one little editing program I use for pictures. I enjoy it. Super simple, super customizable. Um, I don't know how to pronounce it. Never have, but it's spelled IPICCY. iPicky. I've been using it for years. It's awesome. Super user friendly. It's not. You don't gotta download anything. It's a website. You go to it. You drag and drop your pictures. You customize them from there. They got frames, textures, backgrounds, layers. You can make things look like they're on fire. Make things look like they're in the clouds. It's awesome. And finally, Patreon. I recommend it. I've been recommending it since I've started reading about it. Amanda Palmer was the first that I had heard about that was on it. She's basically like the goddess or queen of independent music and independent musician funding. Her achievements are immeasurable and innumerable. The next two people I saw really helped me decide it was the direction I wanted to take. Adam Neely, a bass player and teacher with a very unique twist on things. Any bass player or musician interested in theory with a touch of humor and a little off-kilter aspect of it, recommend Adam Neely, YouTube. Check it out. You won't regret it. And Zach Anner, a hilarious comedian with cerebral palsy, the sexiest of the palsies, as he says. Me and my girl have spent who knows how much time laughing until we cry watching his videos. He's got a unique brand of humor, a beautiful perspective on life, a great way of kind of laughing at himself and his condition. He's so humble, yet he jokes in a way that's almost like he is better than anyone because of his disability, but it's definitely part of his shtick. He's hilarious, and I recommend it. Well, they have Patreons, and I love them. I look forward to anything they post about any week. So I recommend it. Look into their Patreons as well, and anyone who's looking to follow their passion and kind of blog about it and let other people that they know and even strangers get to know them and their experience. I highly recommend starting a Patreon if you know what you're doing and you're going to follow it to your fullest. I plan to make this basically my job to put out content, to keep putting together content consistently. I'm very spontaneous in ways, but I do my best not to let it get the best of me. But this is something that is helping me to hold myself accountable. And to that degree, there will be a unique holiday song each month, starting with this first one. Here it is, March 1st. The next song I'm building now is going to be St. Patrick's themed, but it's going to be unexpected. So anyways, thank you for spending all of this time with me, getting to know this. It's Jake Jones from Going Jones. Thank you for your time. Let's do this.